At the heart of Wing Chun, everyone knows the name of Ip Man, the legendary master who brought the art to the world. But history often hides its greatest secrets in the shadows of its most famous figures. What if I told you that one of the most decisive masters of Wing Chun wasn't a wandering monk or a revolutionary, but a lawyer from one of the wealthiest families in Foshan, a man history nearly forgot, a man who didn't fight out of necessity, but out of pure and absolute obsession. This is not the story you think you know. This is the incredible life of Yuen Kay Shan, martial might, where warriors live forever. Imagine Foshan at the end of the 19th century, a boiling center of commerce, culture, and above all, kung fu. In this world, in 1889, a child is born into one of the richest families in the region. His name, Yuen Kay Shan. His destiny seemed decided, a life of luxury and comfort. But inside this privileged young man burned a passion that would drive him to defy his fate and become a silent legend, a ghost in the annals of Wing Chun, whose skill was a deadly secret hiding in plain sight. Known as Yuen V, because he was the fifth son in the family, he was born into opulence. His father owned a flourishing fireworks business, a near monopoly in Foshan. While other children played in dusty streets, Yuen and his older brother, Yuen Chai Wan, grew up in a world of servants, tutors, and high expectations. He received an elite education and quickly proved himself brilliant. He graduated as a lawyer, a profession he practiced part-time, showing a sharp mind that would soon become his most lethal weapon. His life could have been that of a respected businessman, a prominent figure in high society. He had both wealth and intelligence to achieve it, but his true destiny lay not in courtrooms, but in the sweat and discipline of the training hall. His wealth was not an obstacle. It was his greatest advantage. Unlike many martial artists who had to divide their time between work and training to survive, Yuen possessed the most valuable resource of all: unlimited time and the means to devote himself entirely to unlocking the secrets of Wing Chun. The Yuen brothers began their Wing Chun journey under Master Fok Bo Chuen, who was invited to live in the family estate to teach them. Fok Bo Chuen came from one of the purest lines of the art, rooted in the legendary red boats of Cantonese opera. From the start, it was clear the brothers weren't mere hobbyists. Their dedication was absolute. But Yuen Kay Shan was insatiable. His analytical mind didn't just want to learn techniques, it wanted to understand the system itself. This hunger led him to seek another legendary master, Fung Siu Ching, a former imperial marshal feared for his combat skill. Training with him was a master stroke. It allowed Yuen to merge different training methods and applications from the same lineage of Wing Chun, refining his art in ways very few had achieved. And here the story takes a fascinating turn. Yuen didn't just train. He became a scholar of Wing Chun. He was one of the first masters in history to take meticulous, systematic notes on the principles, concepts, and history of the art. He documented everything, creating a compendium to preserve the purity of the system. His background as a lawyer gave him the discipline to analyze and categorize. He wasn't only a fighter, he became the first historian and theorist of his lineage. While other masters relied on oral transmission, Yuen was building a detailed map for future generations. He was creating the foundation of what we now know as the Yuen Kay Shan Wing Chun system, complete, lethal, and deeply philosophical. With his Wing Chun refined to an almost superhuman level, his reputation grew in the competitive martial world of southern China. Between the 1920s and 1950s, he reportedly participated in numerous duels, emerging undefeated in all of them. He wasn't a troublemaker. His philosophy was clear. Fighting was the last resort, but when it was inevitable, it had to be executed with precision and honor. One famous story tells of a duel against a monk from Jiangxi. The duel involved iron staffs, and at the climax of the fight, Yuen disarmed the monk and instead of delivering a finishing blow, spared his life, a demonstration of both martial superiority and deep ethical conviction. In another instance, a local master from Foshan, jealous of his fame, attempted to ambush him. Yuen, always alert, neutralized him with effortless ease. Rather than humiliating him publicly, he simply forbade him from teaching in the region, reaffirming his silent authority. But among all the confrontations of those years, the most impactful, the one still remembered today in Foshan's martial arts circles, was his battle against a northern praying mantis expert. This is the remarkable story of how Yuen Kay Shan defeated a martial artist named Howu, a famous instructor of northern praying mantis at the Jingwu Athletic Association in Foshan. Because Jingwu originated in the north, all the styles they taught were northern styles. Northern fighters, generally taller and stronger, tended to underestimate southern practitioners, who were shorter and leaner. Their comments were often dismissive, implying that Cantonese styles weren't functional for real combat. Howu shared this attitude, but that would soon change. When he first arrived in Canton to promote his style, he expected his art to attract students immediately. It didn't. Few Cantonese wanted to learn northern kung fu, and no one in Foshan knew who he was. He needed a way to build a reputation, and he found one: defeat the best fighters in the region. He asked around and learned that one of the top masters in Foshan was Ip Man. Defeating him, he thought, would earn him great prestige. One day he heard that Ip Man was at an opium den, lavishly decorated and attended by female servants. But that day, Ip Man was not there. Yuen Kay Shan was one of Yuen's relatives, was an opium smoker who often fell asleep there, and Yuen stayed to watch over him. Tired of waiting, Yuen lay down on one of the opium beds. Suddenly, he heard someone enter and ask for Ip Man. The visitors pointed at Yuen, meaning he was the one to ask. But Howu, who had never seen Ip Man before, misunderstood the gesture. He thought the thin man lying there was Ip Man. Filled with anger and eager to prove himself, he marched toward Yuen and shouted that he had heard he was an expert in kung fu and wanted to see his power. He launched a sudden tiger claw strike at Yuen's face. With his legs extended and no space to dodge, Yuen reacted instantly. He delivered a direct kick to the attacker's abdomen, sending him backward, but he was also grazed by the attacking fingers, leaving a small scratch on his face. Enraged, Yuen jumped up and demanded to know who he was and why he had attacked him. Howu quickly realized his mistake. This was not Ip Man. This was Yuen Kay Shan, Ip Man's close friend. Yuen told him that Ip Man was not there, but if he wanted to test how well a Wing Chun man could fight, he could try with him. Perhaps Howu didn't truly want to fight Yuen, but it was too late. His reputation was now on the line. They went to the outer courtyard. Yuen removed his long robe, hung it on a tree, and waited. Seeing how thin Yuen was, Howu doubted he could even put up a fight. But once the exchange began, he instantly regretted his overconfidence. When Howu attacked, Yuen executed precise footwork, blocked with strong defensive technique, and unleashed a chain of relentless punches straight toward his face. Howu, who had never fought anyone from this southern style, had no idea how to evade the storm of punches. Everyone could clearly see that Yuen Kay Shan was not losing the fight. News of the northern expert's defeat spread like wildfire through Foshan. The fight demonstrated the true power of southern Wing Chun kung fu. The northern fighters had been wrong. Southern styles weren't just for health and drinking tea. They could be devastatingly effective in real combat. But perhaps the story that best defines Yuen's ability is that of his future disciple, Nung. Nung, already a competent martial artist, doubted Yuen's reputation and challenged him. Yuen accepted, with one condition. He placed 2 raw eggs in his trouser pockets and told Nung that if he managed to break them, he would accept defeat. Nung attacked with everything he had. He tried sweeping him, taking him down, striking him, but he couldn't even touch him. Yuen moved like a ghost, effortlessly redirecting every attack. In the end, Nung, exhausted and amazed, gave up. The eggs were intact. From that day on, he became Yuen's most loyal disciple and one of the principal heirs of his legacy. So what made Yuen Kay Shan's Wing Chun so formidable? It wasn't just strength or speed, but the application of superior intelligence. His lawyer's mind allowed him to break combat into fundamental principles: structure, the center line, and simultaneous defense and attack. He didn't see a punch as just a punch, but as an equation of force, angle, and timing, waiting to be solved. His ability to document the art was a silent revolution. While other Wing Chun branches relied on oral transmission and personal interpretation, Yuen created a standard, almost a legal code of Wing Chun that allowed the art to be passed down with unprecedented fidelity. His contribution was not only that of an unbeatable fighter, but of an architect who reinforced the foundations of the art so it could endure. He was contemporary and close friends with other great masters, including Ip Man. They respected each other deeply, yet represented two sides of Wing Chun. While Ip Man became the public face of the art, thanks to Bruce Lee, Yuen Kay Shan remained the guardian of its deepest secrets, a revered figure among those who truly understood the internal history of Wing Chun. He passed away in 1956, leaving behind a legacy as profound as it was discreet. He did not seek global fame, nor did he leave behind a chain of schools bearing his name. His legacy was subtler: the preservation of a pure, complete Wing Chun lineage transmitted through disciples like Nung, who carried the flame to Guangzhou and from there to the world. Today, the Yuen Kay Shan Wing Chun lineage is practiced by a small but devoted community that understands the depth of his approach, a style that values theory as much as practice, intelligence as much as strength. His life is a powerful lesson. It teaches us that greatness does not always shout its name. Sometimes it grows in silence, fueled by unbreakable passion. It shows that dedication knows no social class, that a man born into wealth can choose a path of hardship out of pure love for an art. He was the lawyer who became a warrior, the wealthy heir who found his true fortune in knowledge, the champion who became the secret master of Wing Chun. His story reminds us that the greatest legends are often the ones that never needed to be told. But now, his story has been told. What do you think of the incredible life of Yuen Kay Shan? Was his wealth an advantage or a burden on his martial path? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering these hidden stories from the world of martial arts, don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss our next journey into the heart of Kung Fu.